He actually,
it was worth the wait too, I suppose.
yeah, he did play well.
He's a Talia ban against Faker. He's been pretty scary on it recently. Vlad and GP banned out on the SKTelecom side of things so far.
Yeah, a couple games against ESC on that Talia, and now teams are starting to take it seriously. Of course, we did see the Talia trend in Korea start with CJ Antis, carry over to KT,
Yeah.
and then SKT shortly thereafter. So Malzahar also the following ban. A little bit weird because it is, of course, a flex pick for Jin-Air. They can run it in the top lane.
Yep. So Jin-Air really kind of targeting Faker so far.
Taking away the GP from Trace. He has been improving on that champion and has a history of success on it.
You know, looking at how Blank did on that Hecarim as well, too, you think that Jin-Air would want to consider taking that away because it's much easier to ban out Blank than Faker these days.
Yeah, I do think that probably SKT is still prioritizing the Gragas, but that's not going to be banned either. In fact, they will take out Bang's Ashe, and Gragas first pick it will be.
Yeah, they'll grab the Gragas for Blank, so a little bit of a worry taken away there for SKTelecom, as they're going to get Blank on a jungler he's comfortable with. And will we see the Shen? We will. So Shen Alistar picked up. So top and support. And what's it going to be for SKTelecom? The Trundle would not be too surprising.
Yeah, for either Che or Sweet, Jin-Air actually has a higher priority on Alistar than most other teams, and also an important takeaway from Wolf. Duke may be going in the 1v1 against the Shen with the Trundle because he can effectively win that matchup and create some pressure in a 4-1 split.
Yeah.
Jin take it away, so Sivir actually surprisingly not going to be Bang's first selection. Hecarim in the jungle for Winged. And they've got just a ridiculous amount of engage right now. Jin-Air will be capable of diving, playing the 5v5 team fights very well. Couple of good targets for Shen. Ultimate on Alistar and Hecarim. So the ticket to the back line is there, and that makes Bang's job pretty hard. But the Tahm Kench still up, and that will almost certainly be locked in. You need some way to move that Jin around and keep him safe.
Yeah. You know, we've seen Jin-Air try comps like this off and on throughout the season. They generally do play things very slow, but once in a while, we see them go for these really aggressive, usually a little bit more pick-oriented comp, but this kind of, falls into the same category as far as the early game priority goes, I guess.
Yeah, and it just...
Or the engage goes anyway.
Absolutely, and it just depends on where they want to go for this. LeBlanc and Lissandra still viable selections here.
Yeah.
Depending on where they want to play it. Faker may be going back onto the Victor. We are on patch 614, so some small Victor nerfs coming through. Just hurts his first back mostly.
Just a little bit more expensive Hex core.
Yeah, has to get an additional 250 gold now, so you can't recall quite so early. Does delay your wave clear a little bit.
So final pick going over to Jin-Air as Victor Tahm Kench locked in, and yeah, we could see the Lissandra for Kuzan, I suppose.
It's either going to be Lissandra or LeBlanc, depending on whether they want to go for this all-in 5v5 composition, in which case Lissandra is great, or whether they want to focus more on the picks, which means that the Sivir would be quite good. But either way, you're going to have a lot of mobility. You're going to take the Teleport Summoner in the mid lane, and you're going to be making plays on the side. So Kuzan returns to the Kuzan Classic of mid lane Lissandra.
Okay, so Jin-Air, going for something a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more action-packed here in game number 1 versus SKTelecom. But yeah, SKT looks pretty well equipped to handle it. They've got the pillars to stop the engage from Sivir. They've got Tahm Kench to eat anybody who gets picked on, and Faker to do a lot of damage. I don't know.
Yeah, you're still going to...
What do you need?
Yeah, absolutely. You're still going to have to be worried about 5-mans in the bottom side, because if we end up with standard lanes here and SKTelecom gets pushed in, everybody's just going to show up for a party in the bot lane and try and kill Bang and Wolf underneath the turrets. So Jin-Air has a lot of options. Strong dive, strong 5v5 team fighting, and SKTelecom going to have to play carefully because they are not going to have too much wave clear early in the side lanes with Jin and Trundle. So a little bit of caution will be warranted. SKTelecom probably going to be pretty happy with a lane swap here.
Well, we'll see if they're able to get it. Again, a big match, even though it looks like something that's probably going to be fairly one-sided. Getting that 2-0 is crucial for SKTelecom if they want to have any chance at all of overtaking the Rocks Tigers and getting that first place spot. I mean, it's the difference between getting a free ticket into the grand finals or having to play a whole other best of 5 to get there. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And they're not even safe from Samsung and KT, though. That's the scary part for them. If they lose today, they fall to 12-5, and KT and Samsung both have a chance to attempt to overtake them.
That'd be interesting.
It's unlikely, but it could happen.
Well, we will see. The game will be starting soon, as it looks like we do have a little bit of a pause, but hopefully it will not take too long. In the meantime, enjoy these beautiful champion portraits.
Oh, wow. So
Crafted
nice.
for you by Riot Games.
They're a lot better. I remember when the game came out, and some
Yeah.
of the portraits, the budget art was definitely there.
The issue I had as someone who, has a degree in art, used to do a lot of it. I'll tell you about it later, some other time. Let's move into the game. SKTelecom versus Jin Air, game number 1. Let's see who takes the early lead.
Go.
Let's go. Let's go. So Toa doesn't have to talk anymore. Yeah. Oh, that's the game. Got it now. It's all become clear. And we are still paused.
all right,
We're
we
rocking this pause.
We have awesome jib shots of Faker, so it's
We do.
okay.
That's right.
I'm getting pumped just
You-
looking at him.
Do you like the cuts from our jib?
I do like the cut from our jib.
All right, let's get a game. All right, welcome to Summoner's Rift. SKTelecom versus Jin Air Green Wings. Battle of the multi-time world champions, multi-time LCK champions, and Jin Air.
So Doa, do you know where the phrase "cut of your jib" comes from?
It's like a sailing term, isn't
That's
it?
right.
I believe there's
It
a
is.
sail.
Yeah, the flying jib on the front of it. So
That's right.
liking the cut of the jib is the angle of the sail to catch the wind.
Very true. Yeah. The more you know.
And knowing is half the naval battle, as they say.
That's right. Yeah, I believe it was Napoleon who said that back in his naval battling days. Didn't do a lot of it.
Yeah,
but,
I was going to say there.
Yeah, the English Channel has, you need boats.
Yeah, France not exactly
Many
historically
Andres.
known for the power of their navy. That was mostly like, Spain and England, but
Yeah.
we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was the great Genghis Khan, known for his naval prowess, that said that. I like the cut of your jib, Genghis Khan 2016. I should be on Jeopardy.
So I learned something interesting the other day, Doa.
What?
About Genghis Khan.
Oh, really?
Hold on.
Wait, hold up. Wolf is trying to mess with this red buff. Bang is there, too. A lot of pressure onto Jin Air here as SKT tries to get this lane swap. And they may just take this these little bramblebacks. Take a brambleback.
They got one.
Break me off a piece of that brambleback. All right, well, that
sounds thorny.
it does. So that delays Winged and Trace a bit.
Yep. SKT is going to get the full read clear on the weak side, though, because we just see Pilot and Sweet going back for the Gromp instead.
Yeah.
Spade lane swap to be coming in, but this is quite good if you are SKT. So,
Interesting.
Genghis Khan. So what I learned, actually, so Soju is like, of course, for those of you who don't know, the national alcoholic beverage of Korea.
I know this fact too, but continue.
You do know this fact.
I
okay.
do,
Yeah.
but it's interesting, so please.
Yeah, so yes, it came from the Mongols via. It was. I've actually had this too. So there's a liquor from Syria called Arak,
Right.
and that is an anise liqueur. Or liquor. It's licorice flavor. So I've had that because I've had some Syrian friends, and that was taken by Genghis Khan on his invasion of the Middle East, brought back, and then when Kublai Khan invaded Korea, brought the method for distillation, and that's what made soju.
Sweet. Thanks, Kublai Khan. Well, not really, because it tastes bad. So, never mind.
Arak is much better than soju, for the record.
Well, Wing chasing Blank around. Oh, Blank, you are going the wrong way, buddy. All right, well, I guess you're going to get away. SKT could have come down for the collapse, and he takes the big Raptor. Invade successful.
Yeah, he's going to have an easy time against the Hecarim in the early levels, so nice aggression. And that's what we need to see more of Blank. I mean, This is a guy who, this is a team, by the way. They have the lowest first blood percentage in the entire league, yet they are in second place.
Weird.
At 39%. And just for the record, Blank has an absolutely abysmal 21% first blood contributions. That means he contributes, gets a killer assist on only 21% of first bloods that happen.
Only 1 in 5.
In SKTelecom's game. And to put that straight, both Faker and Bang have higher first blood percentages than the jungler. That is not something that should be happening.
Yeah. So Blank is part of First Blood once every 2 series, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good look for a jungler. You compare that to Score, who leads the league, and he's at like 55%, which is obviously very high.
Yeah.
But it's the one part where SKT really needs to work on. Oh, Faker, that was an awkward death ray.
Oh, well.
Where SKT has been great, though, is in Dragon Control. They get 67%, 2/3 of all Drakes in their games, which is just enormous. And so it's basically about patience, surviving the early game, getting first blood, and then team fighting really well around those Drakes. It's very clear how SKTelecom likes to play the game.
Yep.
And farming. They love farming.
Very true. I mean, you know, back in the day, they called Cloud Templar the herbivore jungler because he was very much farming focused rather than ganking focused. I feel like Blank is the ultimate herbivore. He's more like the vegan jungler. He doesn't even touch like eggs and stuff. Full only. Well, I mean, the thing is all the monsters in the jungle are mean. So, you really be an herbivore jungler to begin with? Questioning my whole worldview.
Well,
now.
I think the Brambleback is technically a plant.
I guess so. I mean, the blue buff is technically rocks. So
the Krugs are made out of rocks too.
That's true.
It's really only wolves and raptors.
Yeah, if you and the Gromp.
And the Gromp.
If you avoid them, you can be.
But the Gromp is sort of like a mushroom
jungler.
toad. So is he? Could be a vegetable.
But what if you just eat the mushrooms off his back?
Interesting. Sweet actually helped there and took some of the local gold. So neither top laner is going to get the full investment on the local gold for the turrets, and Cull already for Duke, so pretty greedy opener from him.
Yeah. Going for a pretty different build than we see on a lot of these trundles that go for something a bit more defensive early on.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to be going Tiamat. It's understandable when he's in the Shen matchup, but he is not going to be in that Shen matchup, as actually SKTelecom is delaying this lane swap even further, and they are switching back away from the Ocean Drake.
Well, just not a big priority, I suppose.
It would be the lowest priority Drake. It's especially useless. Uh-oh.
Blank gank. Uh-oh, he gets ulted, knocked up. Blank in a little bit of trouble here. Wing comes in to finish it, help finish off, and Wing does get the kill. Ah, well, that's why. Well, he was, to be fair, he was part of that first blood, so percentage.
Nope, that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help? Oh, okay, all right.
I'm sorry, that doesn't actually help the statistics.
I'm trying to look for the silver lining here.
Well, it did look like an overextension, but the problem with Blank right there is that he didn't know where the AD carry and support were, and because it was just Sivir on the bottom side of the map. Now, they could have used that to their advantage, because Duke could have just stayed there a little bit longer, considering it was just going to be the Shen, or just the Sivir rather. However, didn't actually make any use of that information, and Blank goes for the very risky pressure in the mid lane, ends up just paying for a really easy ult there from Cruz on.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about with Blank's early game. He is not good at deciding where to be on the map and win.
Kuzan just literally walked up and ulted him.
Yeah.
Didn't even have to flash.
It was very easy. Let's put it that way.
Well,
Blank's gonna come in. TP also.
Yeah, Blank gets punted away there. They do get the flash from Pilot. Here comes Duke now. Nice pillar to slow him down. Pilot gonna pop that summoner heal for a little bit of his speed boost. And he'll be able to get away, but both summoners taken off of the AD carry, and none except for the teleport used by Duke, so not bad.
That was actually a pretty low opportunity cost gank, considering that all the lanes were pushed and they were trying to make a play, but there's no way you TP in on that when Blank still isn't level 6. You're not going to make that gank work. It's not going to happen. They got a couple of summoners, but that is about it. So, not the greatest initial investment of a teleport or a gank there from SKTelecom.
Hands the blue buff over to Faker, then goes for the Grump. Bang, meanwhile, on his own in that top lane for a little bit. But he is quite a bit ahead on CS at the moment over Pilot.
Yeah, Pilot's been sort of awkwardly bouncing between the bottom and the top, so has missed out on some CS opportunities as a result. Duke will be able to pretty much match CS once this wave comes over to him. Will be maybe 5 or 6 down, but that's about it.
Blank again. He is level 6 now. Sweet gets locked up by that Deadly Flourish. Goes back in for that, but Pulverize onto the Gragas. Winged over the wall with the onslaught of shadows, but he gets backed away. Bang gonna pop that curtain call. Maybe able to pick off Sweet. Nope. Winged just gonna block some of that damage. Close call there. Meanwhile, Faker finds Kuzan. Kuzan getting out though with the E, doesn't get caught by the gravity field.
Yeah, nice cutoff though, making sure Kuzan can't actually go to help, and Pilot and Sweet are able to escape that despite Pilot not having summoners. Winged has just been counter-ganking quite well this game. Been in the right place every time so far, and he's been doing that while also getting a pretty significant CS advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Jinair, they've got a decent gold lead at the moment, and that's off of that first blood, of course, but a little bit of CS too.
Yeah, that's the big problem with Blank, is like we talk about how he just hasn't had that ganking presence. Well, the other issue is he is the worst starting jungler at CS differential in 10 minutes.
Yeah, how does that happen?
He's the lowest in that category.
You're not
He's
ganking.
also the lowest in gold differential at 10 minutes. So yes, he's not ganking and he's not farming. That's the really big problem.
So what is he doing?
He's doing things like we saw, which is taking unnecessary risks and dying.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not a good idea.
No. So, now he did have, again, a couple of good games. He did look on form against ESC, but it's been inconsistent. And basically, SKTelecom has been propped up by having extraordinarily strong lanes.
It really is kind of the ultimate win lane, win game team.
Yes. Yes, it is right now.
It's very, very bizarre, but they've made it work for like 4 years now.
Well, they have been more coordinated than in previous iterations of this team.
But they've never truly had a standout.
I don't know. When Bengi's on form and he can actually just control the warding, then that's what you get pretty far with that, considering you have those strong lanes already.
Sure.
And Bengi also was not a player who would frequently die. He's very good at keeping in his head where the enemy jungler could be. He's cerebral in a way that I feel Blank is not. Now, the upside to Blank is that he does place more wards than any other jungler, and the other upside is that he's very low economy. He takes a tiny percentage of his team's gold, so he takes less gold than any other jungler as a percentage of the whole, and wards more. So you could argue that this actually does fit in with the style of play that guys like Faker have been used to their whole career, and that it is effective in that way, but
Wonderful to see Bengi again. Engage onto Wolf. He could be in a little bit of trouble with Wing coming in. Doesn't quite get close enough, as he would have had to run over that trap and get slowed down. One wonders if Bengi is going to move to more of a background role now. Violet absorbing a little bit of that curtain call, but either way, chased away by Bang. Wow, that can do damage. Do a lot.
it doesn't even have the Youmu's completed yet. But the Sivir, look at what Pilot's building. Cull into Boots of Swiftness. Awkward recalls have resulted in not a lot of items so far, and just the Boots of Swiftness so he can farm a little bit deeper in the lane, manage to escape should push comes to shove.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're losing out. Basically, SKTelecom right now farming 3 lanes better, and Winged has got to translate this advantage that he has in the jungle into something tangible, which he's on Hecarim, not going to have a problem scaling into the late game.
Should work. Yep. But so far, SKTelecom hanging in there anyway. Things going down from SKT near the dragon, so maybe they'll finally go for that Ocean Drake. We'll see. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Hector. Go back in your jungle.
He's a scary centaur, okay?
He is.
Except for the arcade Hecarim, that's not very scary.
Then he's a tubular centaur, a radical centaur.
Is that what gamers are? Are we tubular or radical?
The reason I said that is because the gaming thing is sort of a throwback, 8-bit sort of gaming references. You know, back when people said things like tubular and radical.
Only if you were a surfer, Noah.
Or you just were really into Ninja Turtles. I lived in Wisconsin. I said radical all the time.
Did you surf in Wisconsin?
Of course not. But I watched a lot of Ninja Turtles.
Why were they surfers, by the way?
But they weren't really.
Well, tubular is a specific surfing term. That's why I asked.
Yeah, but I don't know, I mean, Michelangelo rode a skateboard. You can't really surf in New York, or at least not in New York City anyway. Just out there surfing the East River.
Oh, well, you can surf on Coney Island, so maybe they surf there.
Maybe. All right, Deadly Flourish on this week, gets pushed back in. Tries to get out, pops that Alistar ultimate, a little bit on his own. Blank doing what he can. Wolf could get in there for the jump, but Bang's just going to take that kill. SKTelecom finds one there as Janair kind of awkwardly runs by the mid lane turret.
That was a huge separation there from Janair, and you just have to commit to an all-in if you're Janair. I mean, we see Kuzan and Wing not even going after their ultimate. Sweet sort of awkwardly isolated on the side of that fight, and easy pickings as Bang just cleans it up with a curtain call and then takes out Sweet with his 4th shot on his auto attack.
Well, SKT finally finding a little bit of leverage on the map that they will see if they can translate into something else. Wing hiding in the brush. Here comes Blank.
It's a nice try.
It's a parting blow.
Sneaky little gank right there. Yep. Winged well prepared to get out of that situation. But Duke, you know, problem right now is that Duke is eventually going to become an unstoppable split pusher against this Shen, able to easily 1v1 with the help of the subjugate.
Yeah. And
so
I mean,
Janair's got to look for ways to 5v5, and they already missed out on their opportunity to try and fight around the Drake. Instead, SKTelecom gets Drake #1. It will be another Ocean Drake next, which it really doesn't matter for SKT to have Ocean Drake or not, because Janair is an all-in composition. You're not going to have time to regen in any meaningful way. It's not a poke comp that Janair is running, so Ocean Drake is basically useless for SKTelecom.
I mean, the other thing, too, is that SKT has a lot of good ways to stuff the engage from Janair. You know, between the Trundle Pillar, the disengage that explosive cast can give you, Wolf just eating people. Faker can even zone with the gravity field ultimate. So Janair, you know, if SKT's ready anyway for them, is going to have a hard time getting in there.
Yeah, the issue, though, is that Janair has, like, multiple forms of engage. They have 3 forms of hard engage with the Hecarim and the Alistar and the Lissandra. So it's very hard, even with the amount of disengage that SKT has, to not take those team fights. When you go, this is like this composition is something we might see out of, say, Africa. Just these all-in team fights.
Yeah.
So there's basically no disengage if you play it properly. Janair has been a little bit shaky, at least in that first engagement.
SKT just farming her at the moment.
Yeah, Duke is building totally for split push too. Titanic Hydra into Iceborne. Not planning to really join up for a team fight. They just want to give Janair the runaround on the map.
And I'm not sure if this is the game that Janair really wants to delay too much. Do you think they really want to take this to late game?
They could take it to late game. Tons of 5v5 fighting potential. It'll be hard for them to deal with the Trundle, but if the Trundle's TP is down, that's absolutely huge for them.
Well, the Trundle, the Victor, I feel like SKT's not really lacking in the
you have Hecarim and Sivir, though. Those huge late game threats. And because Bang is playing the Jhin, he is going to have to deal with that backline dive, which is not going to be easy, especially if they play around Wolf properly. So Janair can do it, but they have the tools. Do they have the skill? Probably not.
We will see. 1 minute until the next Drake comes up, and as we mentioned earlier, it is Ocean Drake. until then, enjoy the farming.
Oh, Lissandra's going it alone.
Kuzan getting caught. The E denied. Ults himself to try to make time for Jinair to catch up here. Flashes away, Shen ulting in, and that's going to save Kuzan, but a close call there. Getting out that ultimate and that flash from Lissandra might make it a bit easier for SKT to take the dragon at least.
That was like the world's most dangerous warding mission, Doa. You don't know where so many people on SKT are, and you're a mid laner walking in by yourself, but Blank is caught.
Completely caught. Tries to get away, but the onslaught of Shadow is going to fear him back, and that's another kill for Jinair.
That turret was so low. Blank had no business being there. Yeah, that face. He knows he's upset by that one. He had no backup, and the turret was about to go down anyway, so there was no way he could defend. He didn't even have his ultimate to push them back if he got underneath the turret. So, pretty big misplays from both teams.
Faker's decided to take things into his own hands. Gets knocked up by Sweet. Bang, firing that curtain call, and actually, the Chaos Storm doing a lot of damage to Sweet. Wolf goes in, though. Has to pop that gray health nearly immediately. Flashes over the wall to try to get away. Bang trying to slow people down with the Deadly Flourish, but Trace gets one. Kuzan's going to get one, and Jinair's going to take the fight and the dragon. So that's a kill on Blank, a turret, 2 more kills, and now a Drake.
Wow, this has been so awkward from SKT. They had this Drake locked up.
Yeah.
They got 2 very important ultimates out in the Stand United and the Frozen Tomb from Lissandra for free, basically, when Kuzan face checked, and then a series of sort of just walking in one by one. Wolf also flashed here before he spit Faker out and then flashed, which also forced Faker to use his flash. So Faker gets stunned up on the side. They try and go all in on this. They think they have Sweet, but great interception there from Kuzan. Now, Faker is inside Wolf, but watch Wolf. Why is Faker out before the flash comes through? A little bit awkward timing, so Faker also uses his flash to get into the choke point, but too much damage. And that means SKTelecom is finding themselves in a hole in this early game.
Yeah. About 2,000 gold down, but it isn't going the way we kind of thought it would go.
I don't know, I kind of expect this from SKT right now.
I guess, but every time you're like, all right, this is going to be the day they get it together. I don't know. Oh, Kuzan. This is Zonya's. He's got the ult to keep himself alive, too. He's going to use that. Trying to delay again, but all right, Stand United coming in. Shield gets burned through very quickly, but here comes Trace. Wolf eats up to Lissandra, though, and there's a kill for Faker. Now Wolf, though, and Blank kind of trapped on their own. Very low health. Pilot, though, nearly taken down. Meanwhile, SKTelecom trying to track down Wing. Blank gets taken out. Sniped. Wow. I've got you in my sights.
That's right. Unfortunately, this doesn't aimbot Doa.
No, that's just Bangbot. I mean, Bang aim. There's no good way to say that, really. You know what I mean. Bang killed him.
Please don't say Bangbot.
I call him like I see him, Monte Cristo. All right, and that's a very aggressive Baron.
Nobody has a jungler, so I don't think you can do that Baron right now.
It's a brave move. Brave but stupid. And they will back off.
Well, this is just a game of who gets caught out more, apparently. Just very sloppy overextensions and warding missions from both of these teams.
There's not a lot of clean play happening here. Jin, you are creepy. Stop talking.
The creepy cowboy.
Yep. Creepy, anonymous member.
Is he an anonymous member?
Sometimes. In his normal skin, I suppose.
Does he have like a Guy Fawkes mask?
Sort of. It's Guy Fawkes-esque. All right, it's high noon. Sweet gets caught. One more will do it. No, not quite. Pilot, though. Oh, how did they live? Wow. That was crazy.
Yeah, Blank is going to look for the finisher. There's the W, though. Finds him.
Deadly Flourish. That was a beautiful kill.
Yeah. Nice zone there from Blank. And Blank finally making plays. And this is typically where SKTelecom picks it up in the mid-game.
It is, isn't it? I mean, they can look like a pretty mediocre to bad team for the first 20 minutes, and then it's like, all right, time to get serious. And then they take 2 turrets. Maybe.
Yeah, a little bit tough.
Maybe not.
Bang at it.
Wing.
Turret aggro.
Over the wall, yeah. Bang has to back up as well. Blank gonna get taken down. Another kill for Pilot. And SKTelecom has to back away. That flank from Wing to really turn things around.
Yeah, Bang taking turret aggro was actually the big problem right there, because otherwise they would have been able to stay a bit longer. But if he was low, then the threat of that flank, a little bit too much to handle. Blank actually did sacrifice himself to prevent any more members of his team from going down.
Yeah. Noble sacrifice.
Let's take a look at that. I mean, it's just
this is a heartbreaker, man.
yeah, you see the barrel roll coming in too. So 2 targets, but Bang is going to miss on that last one. Blank comes around the side, and there you go.
Whoa! Wow!
Sick. Nice job.
That was a blind deadly flourish for the kill. He knew where he was. He predicted it.
Still though, Sweet even being in range of the deadly flourish. A bit sloppy, could have walked back a little bit further and also gotten away from a possible, of course, Trundle or Gragas interruption while he was calling under his tier 2.
True. All right, dragging up in about a minute, and it's a 3rd Ocean Drake now.
Wow, it's a lot of water.
Yeah, sure is. Well, it's in the river, so not surprised. All right, Pilot. In trouble again. Whoa, never mind. Did I say Pilot was in trouble? Sweet comes into the big engage. Wing follows it up. Faker caught, killed off. Wolf in a little bit of trouble on the side. Blank goes down, and Jin Air seems to have this team fight without any issues. Trace just chopping down Bang. Bang turns it around, though, for the deadly flourish onto Trace. So Wing gonna chase him. Yeah, Bang, you cannot stick around there. Goodbye, Tom Kench.
Well, that's going to be a Baron for Jin Air.
Should be, yeah.
They have the angle through the mid lane. Duke is going to be able to slow them up a little bit, but not enough. Also, Deadly Flourish can't get the root down. So Jin Air will just turn straight onto this objective, and that's the trouble. There is so much engaged that, sure, they got onto the Jin and they forced Tom Kench, but Jin Air did the right thing. They immediately ulted Faker with Lissandra ult and then focused him instead.
Yep. Well, Duke and Bang actually causing a lot of damage here.
Uh-oh.
Duke's going to pick up 1 kill. That Baron still has half health here. Bang doing work in the pit right now. Trace tries to go for the taunt, misses it. Bang still has his flash. That's a double kill for Duke. That's a triple kill for Duke. He's going for another one. Kuzan has to flash out. Trace still there. Kuzan using the E to get out, actually. And SKTelecom, here comes Wolf. He can take that Baron.
Oh my.
Curtain call. Oh, Bang
canceled.
knocked out of it. Baron MVP, but SKTelecom still going to be able to take it. What a turnaround.
Holy cow, Duke and Bang
No
just showing up right there. Duke was on his way to a penta, but he decided not to flash over the Baron pit wall. So let's check this out. I mean, Duke just comes in and he's got that AoE damage. Now Trace trying to actually tank this right now, but Pilot, Duke with the Tiamat and the Iceborne is actually doing quite a bit of damage
a lot of AoE
in the back line. And yeah, there's no mana on Kuzan. Everybody else really low. Duke decides just to tank the Baron and try and take it away instead, which SKTelecom, they managed to secure the Baron after they come back up. But wow, that was so bold by Bang and Duke.
That was a hero play right there, man.
And they just underestimated the amount of damage that this Trundle was going to do to them, and I don't blame them. I didn't think the Trundle would be able to do that either.
Infernal Drake next up. SKTelecom with that Baron, though, finally in a position to blow open this lead.
Yeah, also, Jin Air sloppy on who was actually tanking that Baron, because it should have been Trace the whole time, but Sweet died.
There's the Zonius. SKTelecom continuing to chase. They're going to focus on this tier 2 down in bot lane now. They'll get the tier 2 in mid as well. Well, apparently this is just the point where SKT wins the game.
Well, it should have been the point where Jin Air wins the game, because they had that great engage into the Baron, and that was just incredibly unlikely that they weren't going to be able to finish that. Sure, it was only 20-odd minutes. Duke, well, he gets annoyed. That's about the extent of what Jin Air is going to be able to do to him in his current state.
So SKT getting multiple tier 2 turrets out of that, and the Dragon.
Wow.
Not bad.
Well, not bad at all.
It's been a crazy game. Sure. now things are kind of calming down again. You got to wonder, what can SKTelecom do to sort of maintain this lead now?
Well, I think they're going to be able to do that just fine. Probably going to take another Baron. At the end of the day, they won't be able to crack the base, but it'd be just a few more minutes of farming, and then SKTelecom maintaining their ward control over the Baron. As you can see, 59 flat armor penetration right now for Bang, and got some of the armor items on the side of Jinair.
Yep, he's doing a lot of damage with that Jin. All right, here we go. Good call. He's on. Shots blocked by Sweet. Just using it as a zoning tool. This has been a weird game, hasn't it?
It has not been the cleanest League of Legends from either side, Doa, but it has been exciting League of Legends. That is something we can say.
Has certainly been that. Duke just pounding away at this top lane tier 2.
Not much they're going to be able to do about that.
Yep, he's become a very strong split pusher. There it goes.
SKT still with the Baron buff up for a little while longer.
See if they can make any progress onto the inhibitor turrets here.
There's something they can do about Duke now, especially after he picked up even more money, even more kills. The disparity between him and Trace is substantial.
Giving him 3 kills probably didn't help Jinair out too much. All right, they're going to jump on him, though. Trying to go for the 3v1, though.
Duke doesn't even
walking away. Nope, I don't think he's too worried about it.
Okay.
Yeah, he is tanky. Meanwhile, the mid lane inhibitor turret getting taken out by SKTelecom.
They've got such a small amount of time. SKT Baron buff gotta fall off right there, and that's it. They don't even manage to finish off the last couple hundred HP.
Well, they got a lot of damage done at least.
Well, it heals up though, so
yeah,
may all be for naught in the end. And now we just wait for objectives to respawn and see if SKT can pull it out. Jinair is within striking distance, especially with this team composition and how hard they're going to engage and burst. If they can get a good team fight and take out Bang or Faker immediately again, there is a possibility that they can come back in this one.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen team fights where they were able to win pretty easily this game, although they have yet to be able to kill Bang.
Yeah, there is an end game scenario for SKT where we see QSS onto Faker and Bang and Wolf, where their engage is going to be super difficult because no matter who they ult, there's going to be a QSS there to take them out of it, plus the Taunт Kench. But we're a long way from that point, and still no Quicksilver Sashes on anybody on SKTelecom. So the opportunity still exists for Jinair to get that perfect team fight.
So we wait about the same amount of time until the Infernal Drake and the Baron come up. So that's actually a big deal because Infernal Drake makes a big difference for both of these teams. And Baron obviously is Baron. So interesting to see the choices that are made as Bang just clears the minion wave and forces Pilot and Sweet back a bit.
It's huge. Last shots coming through from the curtain call.
Just trying to keep the lanes pushed.
We're going to transition this Infernal Drake straight into the Baron and maintain the vision on both. Very low HP. They may take this turret. Bang has to walk up, though.
Wow,
that hurts.
Pilot getting so low already, and that's going to be an easy turret take. For SKTelecom, they find Wing now. Nice explosive cast from Blank, forcing the GA to get popped. Loading up the barrel, Wing just ulting away. Looks like he'll be able to make it for the moment. Sweet goes in for the engage, has to flash, pops the Alistar ultimate. And all of this is going to make sure that Jinair can't really contest whatever objective SKT wants outside of the base. They're going to take the mid inhibitor. What's it going to be? Baron or Infernal Drake?
Well, they probably will have that opportunity just to split up right here. They should want to take the red buff and then cover on the Baron side while they solo or two-man the Infernal Drake. Red buff is going to be taken by Bang. Does see there's a pink ward there, but no clearing quite yet. Blank's still hovering around the Baron, so no movement over to Infernal yet.
Yeah, seems like SKT could just walk up and take it whenever they wanted.
Yeah, well, they also have to make sure that they can disengage. Bang was a little bit vulnerable, so right for Blank to come in and provide that bit of a meat shield for him, and
Right.
doesn't have to go get that at all. Bang and Faker able just to two-man it, no smite required, and that is probably the nail in the coffin here.
Well, it's an SKT that's going to suddenly be doing a lot more damage. As I'm sure Jin Air will find out.
Youmuu's.
Trace gets slowed, yeah. Youmuu's popped by Bang.
Trying to get in range of an auto attack there. Wanted to chunk them out so they could just do an uncontested Baron attempt, but Faker's still lurking around the pit.
Yep. Does some damage to Trace. Scaring Jin Air back a little bit.
Such range from the SKTelecom team composition.
All right, going in. Trying to make a plan to Duke. Sweet, though, caught out a little bit. Has to use the Alistar ultimate early. Pilot pops on the hunt. Jin Air, though, with no real engage. Bang uses his curtain call. Now Jin Air having to run. That's going to be some trouble. And that may be the Baron for SKTelecom.
Pulling back out. They got two important ultimates out of Jin Air there, so now they may be redoubling their efforts to actually take this Baron. Nope, gonna go for the pick.
Yep. Gonna see him with the
That
ward
was
going
so
on
clever.
the Winged. Winged has to ult away. Easy to escape if you're that Hecarim, but you have to use the ultimate to do it.
Doa, that was so smart. They dropped the blue trinket intentionally outside of the bush to make it look like they were in the Baron pit trying to see where the jungler was, but it was actually a pick attempt. Didn't actually get it, but it was.
Well, they got Sweet.
Well, they got him that time. But that's exactly what that was. Show Hecarim as he's coming in that blue trinket ward, and then see if he's going to go ahead and try and face check that brush. Sneaky.
Very sneaky. Wolf zoning on the outside of the pit as SKTelecom goes for this Baron. And without Sweet, it's going to be tough for Jin Air to make some progress. Winged it already half health. Baron lower. Kuzan thinking about coming over the wall. Looks like Blank is just going to finish this one off. Yep, and SKTelecom takes a pretty easy Baron.
Baron number 2. The first one was unlikely. That one was well played. Methodical. And now we can set back up for what SKTelecom hopes will be the finisher in his first game of the series.
It just seems like SKT kind of just messes around for the first 20 minutes. And they're like, oh yeah, we got to win this game. And
It's not a good look, though. This is not looking like a team at the moment that can actually win this season. When we take a look at teams like the Rocks Tigers, who have just been much more powerful in their early game, and even KT, who has cleaned it up ever since their fun Baron throws towards the center of the season. And even KT, if they hadn't actually played those Barons poorly against SKTelecom, they were in a commanding lead, especially in Game 3 of that series.
I mean, one wonders, right? It would be pretty interesting if SKTelecom didn't win the summer season. That'd be our first new champion here in Korea since 2014.
Yes, before we had a league. We were still in a tournament format at that time.
That's right. Still had sister teams back then.
I missed that.
It was a different world. Casting on the beach, Busan.
What a great final that was.
Oh, yeah. Summer finals usually deliver, unless it was last year's summer finals.
We'll hope for this year, Doa. Hope last year summer was an anomaly.
Yeah. I hope so, too. SKT hoping to close this one out in the near future. Not pushing too aggressively with this Baron buff, though.
Just patience. You just need the Duke there in the mid lane, pushing in the super minion waves.
Yep.
Don't have to overcommit. Duke can pop up into the top side anytime he wants.
Bang doing a bit of sieging. Duke just walks into Jin Air's base. Not a lot they can do to stop him. Zoning out. Trace taking some hits. There goes the inhibitor turret. Blank goes in looking for a pick. Doesn't find it. Winged running around frantically, trying to find a good ultimate. But he's going to need to find follow-up too. Trying to loop around the side, but Wolf is there to zone. They're going to take out the inhibitor. Blank moving in onto Kuzan, gets W'd. Winged onto Faker in the back lines. That inhibitor still alive for the moment. Bang eaten up by Wolf just in the last moment. He's going to stay alive for the time being anyway. 2 kills for Faker, 1 for Bang, and that's the end of the game. A double kill for Faker. And SKT gonna hang it out, you know.
Waiting for that to come back up, and that'll be it. Winged had
he's gone.
A really desperate engage onto Faker in the back line. He was
taking the
easily able to handle the Hecarim, and that'll wrap it up. So Jin Air, they can't quite convert, but props to Duke and Bang for saving that Baron, because otherwise this would have been a really different game.
Yeah, that was a heroic moment when Duke and Bang got 3 kills, set up the Baron for SKT to take it, and SKTelecom coming back and winning what was a pretty messy game for both sides.
That was, but wow, what a save from Duke. Really impressive. And again, the kind of shaky early game comes through. Jin Air, though, credit to them, they committed to a lot of those team fights. They looked more aggressive and active on the map than we're typically accustomed to seeing from this particular roster. So maybe this all-in style of composition can help them, because they were very nearly the victors of that first game.
Well, you know, every time I feel like we see Jin Air play a pick comp or play something more aggressive, they look better, you know?
I agree.
And maybe it's just because they're doing something different finally, but maybe there is something there too. So we will see. I'm sure Koma has some words for those guys after that game. Obviously, Jin doing a lot of damage.
Curious where we're going to see Jin Air's draft go. If they're going to try and take out some of these junglers that we know Blank can perform on, the Gragas and the Hecarim. They have the first pick on the blue side this time, so they can take away a strong jungler themselves. It's also when there's a low-pressure jungler on the enemy team, there's also a great opportunity for Wing to play his trademark Thunderlord's Graves, because the scaling is absolutely insane on that pick, and if you're not going to be punished for it because the enemy jungler is weak in the early game, it's a good pick.
Very true. So we will see if Jin Air can muster any sort of resistance for game number 2. I'd like to see them play something aggressive again. It seems like there was some life in it anyway. But we will see. When we come back, SKTelecom looking for that important 2-0 to stay in the running for a possible first place takeaway here in LCK Summer. And Jin Air, no playoffs for them, trying to avoid relegations and fighting for pride. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back on LCK Summer after this.